Hi, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of the Wiki podcast. We happen to be recording this on 1st of January, so I'd like to open by wishing everyone a very happy new year. Today, I'm honored to host the incredible Puniitta Lakkhani, also known as Modern Meerabai. Puniitta is recognized as India's first divorce recovery coach. She empowers professionals in their 30s to heal from relationship loss, reclaim their happiness, and rebuild their lives with courage. The list of achievements is is long and very credible, but I'll just hit on some top ones. She's amongst the top 100 inspiring women in India, recognized in 2023 by Fox Media. She's the winner of the Tally MSME Honors in 2024 for the social impact that she's been creating. She's a two-time Guinness World Record holder. In diverse spaces, no time to get into the details of that, but that adds massive credibility to who she is. She's had a rich corporate career spanning across various media giants like Havas Worldwide, The Times Group, HT, and she's also served the Wiki Council for Psychological Well-being. She's was one of the members and a very active one at that, and she's had a deep passion for mental health advocacy. So I'm so glad and so honored to have you here, Puniitta, and just in time as we roll into this new year. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Garima. And I'm logging in from Bangalore today for sure, but I soon will be seeing you in Delhi and in person. Ask me how and why.
I am so excited about that. And yes, we will go to the how and why of that as well. But just before that, so that our audience have the context, while I've given a very brief introduction here, but I'd love for you to first talk about, where you're coming from. Divorce recovery in itself as a concept, I realize that, one needs to first create the need and the market. While there is already one that exists, but it's not articulated as such. That need is so, under the wraps, that first the concept needs to be unpacked in itself. So if you could talk about your journey and your how did you get to this place, and then let's talk about, so many other underlying themes that you wanted to touch upon.
Absolutely. So let me take a cue from what you touched upon. What is divorce recovery? And I am able to speak upon it with this confidence because I have myself traversed this journey, going through a nasty divorce 10 years back, taking so many years to stand up back on my feet, fighting depression, anxiety, low self-worth, self-esteem, and being a woman somewhere, getting into the nitty-gritties of a girl being hardworking, wanting to prove her point, to break those glass ceilings, and yet being seen as a failure stages where I personally felt that, we face these um, discrepancies at time in the society, trying to fight these taboos, and yet at the same time not wanting to reveal that I'm going through a divorce because this itself is such a big stigma. And when a person at deep down is suffering from emotional pain, mental anxiety, that's where they really start feeling weak, that anybody shouldn't know about it. And why are we even hiding? Well, now I'm able to answer that. Back then, I had no answers to this. The stigma around divorce is so big. We are all mentally fighting. The moment we try to go out and speak to somebody, and I'm addressing it as a we on behalf of people who still are going through this phase of life. And this is a phase of life, as I say it. It's not a engagement day or a marriage ceremony day. It takes away an entire phase of our life where कुछ लोग तारीख पे तारीख अटेंड करते करते अपने गोल्डन इयर्स गवा देते हैं, अंदर बाहर कोटते आते जाते. ये पूरा फेज हमारा एक ऐसा लो लाइन फेज है जहां पर हम बात करना भी चाहें अगर, तो लोग कहते हैं ओ डोंट इन्वॉल्व, बात मत करो इससे, इसको इन्वॉल्व मत करो, इसको इंक्लूड मत करो, ये नेगेटिविटी ही फैलाएगी, शी हैज ऑल नेगेटिव टू टॉक. I went through so much of rejection because I was going through pain, which even further threw me all secluded. In your inner circle, when you try to talk it out, जहां से हम उम्मीद करते हैं सपोर्ट की, वहीं से हमें सबसे ज्यादा रिजेक्शन मिलता है. And that is something which I have gone through so personally, deeply, that it somewhere became the very reason why I am sitting in front of you today. From this weakness, I drew inspiration to become that strength and support which I did not get in my difficult times. And today, here we are winning global and national awards for some social impact work being done in divorce recovery space, becoming that strength, that emotional guide for somebody who is going through divorce, separation, heartbreak, such issues.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for, giving a shape, name, and tangibility to something that's been so intangible for so long. Yeah, you touched upon a few things that, how people suffer in hiding. Whereas you after having gone through that, you made your mess into a message, and today you're impacting so many people, how it's a phase and not just one time, one occasion or one situation. It's a life lived for a certain duration. And these could be somebody's very precious, and any time is precious. But especially if you're younger, like you said, that you work with people who are in their 30s, when person is still discovering, you're in neither here nor that, their kind of a space. Uh, Also, I really resonate with this point that when somebody's down, and how the environment can either lift them up or beat them further down. So thank you so much for sharing and tangibilizing the whole concept for us here, Puniitta, and working in this space. And of course, you've been winning all these recognitions because you've been doing some great work in this space. Help me understand your name. The brand name is very interesting, and you come from the field. We're also, talking about media, communications, wiki, that whole flavor. Modern Meerabai in itself, the name is very interesting. How did you come about with this particular name for yourself?
Well, when I was going through the lowest phase of my life, and this is like the pit bottom, and you're in complete surrenderance, rather, I was in complete surrenderance, if I could say that. And that is where our spiritual quotient goes really, really high. I'm sure the viewers can relate to this. जब बाहर वालों से तार टूटने लगते हैं तो अंदर ऊपर तार जुड़ने लगते हैं, बहुत स्ट्रांगली जुड़ने लगते हैं. And that is where I would listen to one bhajan. There was one song which I would listen on a repeat mode. और उसमें एक बहुत खूबसूरत पंक्ति थी, which said, मीरा नाचेगी जब प्रेम नचाएगा. Meera is the soul or the individual. Nachegi jab prem nachayega is the ultimate God. So
Yeah.
I was in surrenderance to the God. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but please pull me out of this pain. And जब मैं बार-बार इस गाने को, इस पंक्ति को सुनती थी, so there was somewhere a personification of Meera in me, where I am willing to do whatever. This pain is unbearable. I will dance to your tune, but pull me out of it. And living in this modern world, obviously, I cannot wear an orange saffron sitar in my hand, but I definitely could be that modern Meerabai today, trying to be that resilient soul who wants to come out, break the shatters in the glass ceiling.
Wow. And love uplifted you and engulfed you, like how, right? It's given you your
Totally.
life's purpose then.
Of all the teachings that I do, my entire coaching and the teaching, spirituality is the core, surrounded and wearing the coat of emotional resilience.
Absolutely, absolutely. So many times we discount this one part of our being, right? Because mental, emotional, physical is something that's still tangibilized to a certain extent. The spiritual aspect of a human being is something that a lot of us miss. And thank you so much for touching on that and bringing that forth. Now, making it a little more practical for our viewers, for their understanding, what are the ways in which you work, Puniitta? both virtually and physically. And then if you could also touch upon the kind of geographies you are present in, and what you're planning in Delhi as well. I know you're coming down to Delhi to put up something really interesting for all of us here. So talk about different mediums in which you create impact, formats and mediums, both virtual as well as physical, and wrapping it up with what's happening in Delhi, and then maybe we can stress a little on that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Garima. Well, in this space now for 5 years, I started this service originally for women who were going through a divorce to handhold them. But over the 5 years, I have understood that it's equally men and women who both bear the brunt. No single person being, prioritized over the other. And it is the giver in a relationship who ends up bearing the brunt more, not knowing where to draw the boundaries and uplift themselves. And this could be either a male or a female. The giver is the feminine energy, and that feminine energy is what I work with. So and I have clients which are across the country, especially this divorce recovery concept is a very metropolitan concept where it's strongly advocating normalizing divorces in the society. Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. These specifically are the cities which are open to the concept, and I have my clients working there. I may be based in Bangalore, but I connect virtually with them and handhold guide them, work closely with their divorce lawyers, with their financial planners. And why is that so? A divorce lawyer can give you a legal opinion about what the case, what are the sections being applied. A financial planner can give a financial recommendation of what's happening, how things can be done, how alimony will be handled, the maintenance would be done for the child. But are you in a stable, emotionally, mentally stable state to take those big decisions of your life? That is where a divorce recovery coach comes in. And we work very closely with the divorce lawyers today. Modern Meerabai is the one-stop solution for all divorce-related needs. I connect them to all the resources that they would need to materialize, easily finish a divorce case, which otherwise would take 8 years, golden years, 10 years, even 15 years for some people, where we ensure that this is wrapped up smoothly, efficiently, so that both the parties can start living again, opening up all the knots which may come up. That's the whole purpose.
This is so interesting. Yeah, please complete.
I would love to hear your thoughts.
This is so interesting because, as I'm listening to you, there is a part of my traditional upbringing and mindset that is coming. There's a shadow side to this conversation which says, "Ke, wow, you're giving them all ammunitions to destroy a house in a way, right? You're making it easy for them." That's the gray side, that's the shadow side of a narrative. But at the same time, when it's not working for you, because all relationships come to a natural fruition or conclusion or separation. You see sisters, you see brothers, you see friendships ending, you see even parents and children behaving a certain way and not being on the same terms. But the moment it becomes a romantic relationship, more so marital relationship, there's so much taboo around it that a service like this can even be perceived as negative, right? Whereas here you are holding space and giving a platform to somebody to be able to just navigate it better. This it's such a lonely journey that you're making less lonely or less turbulent with what you're here to offer. It's amazing, and I really congratulate you from the bottom of my heart for having the courage to start this and taking it ahead. But tell me one more thing. The moment I hear divorce recovery, I know that you're an emotional intelligence coach as well. You're somebody who's done NLP also. You have a lot of therapies and modalities with which you work. Is it only relevant to somebody who's going through divorce themselves, or is it also for people who are emotionally in a place where they need some more support? Let's open it up for people, because someone might just switch off saying I'm not getting divorced, so why do I need this?
Understood. Yes. And it's a very beautiful way of putting, Garima. Thank you so much for bringing that perspective in. Yes, very much. It's like a doctor who super specializes in
Yeah.
being a pediatrician and similarly, we life coaches super specialize in a field. So I may be a super specialist in divorce recovery. I also work in a lot of cases, and the modalities that I use are very, very much for somebody who is going through emotional pain themselves. It could be a grief, a loss of a dear one. It
Mm.
could even be a heartbreak, not necessarily. It could be a person suffering in an office with a manager and not knowing how to handle the colleagues who are, probably I can use the word attacking them for some weakness that has lately been revealed at workplace.
Mm.
So emotional pain can come from your environment, either at home, at your workplace. And I somewhere feel it's an unfair share for the women bearing a little more brunt of the same, where they feel that they are guilty or they should be, made to realize that their mistake. They end up realizing, taking the mistake more on themselves. One is the upbringing, and two is the environment, which pushes it. So both ways, it becomes easier. And women end up bearing a little more brunt on themselves and feeling a little heavier at heart, which carries, they bring it back at home also. So this emotional suppression of emotions that happens, there is so much of science, Garima, supporting today,
Yeah.
saying that whatever emotions we are suppressing inside us becomes the dis-ease, the discomfort of the body in the long run. Any part of your body which is weak ends up taking that emotional pain, and over a period of time with exposed trauma, that body organ transform that suppressed emotion into the stones, fibroids, or what all we hear. And the only way the doctors say is cut it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Because we are just treating the symptom and not going to the bottom of everything. Your beliefs result to your thoughts, thoughts to feeling, feelings to emotions, emotions to action, and so on and so forth. And the beauty is that, now as you're opening up this conversation, we've both worked with Vicky closely. We've worked for the causes of women, closely. Uh, while divorce is one thing and divorce recovery in itself is very, very necessary and important, the fact is that signs start showing up very early on. Divorce is also just like a disease conversation that we're doing. It's a very fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, tenth stage sort of a
Yeah, yeah,
outcome.
yeah. The symptoms come very early, and these symptoms these come in from stress and tension and emotional suppression. Divorce
Mm,
can be the one reason of it. There can be so many reasons, and now we are opening up the Pandora's box here and saying,
mm,
for every reason that you have suppressed your emotions, release them. This new year, commit to releasing these suppressed emotions, because in the long run, you may not know it's hurting your body inside
mm,
more than you can think of.
mm. I so understand this. I've been married 16 years. And my career and my personal life always were parallel. Like the year I started working, I got married within 6, 8 months of starting to work. And always whenever there was a personal milestone was always conflicting with my professional milestones, be it a promotion, be it my pregnancy, be it the maternity leave, so much, right? There was so much of discord. And now that in the last year or so, when I stepped out and when I reflect on that journey, I still am clearing so much that I've piled on in the last decade and a half. So and for PR professionals, communication professionals, marketing professionals, you've been there, I've been there. It's a female dominated space, but it is one of the most high stress professions, right? You have to look a certain way, you have to show up a certain way, you have to talk a certain way. You're putting up a cosmetic mask a lot of times for professional demands, and suppression, suppression, suppression. Tell me, if somebody wants to today start and take the first step, Punita. Of course, there are ways in which they can get in touch with you, and they can work with you closely. That's of course always an option. But if somebody is still not daring to get to that level, one, in their own space what they can do. And if they decide to come and, be in your company and do something, talk about the event that you're doing here in Delhi as well. Give me step by step. Okay, this is what you can do with your own self. This is what you can do with me in the long term. And this is what you can come and, experience in the workshop that you're putting up.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for putting it out so beautifully for the audiences here, how the step reveals open. The step one is the acknowledgement itself, where we acknowledge that we are in pain. Over the years and generations we have seen, we suppress these emotions, put them under the carpet and say everything is okay. I go deep dive into the work and overwork and become a workaholic.
Or
And while
numbing
one
myself.
inside it's hurting, but I don't want to address it. And that is where my productivity outside is getting affected. I started working 8, 10, 12 hours thinking I'm extra productive and I don't want to look into this pain inside. Unfortunately, I was zero productive outside. And there will be so many people raising their hands saying, yes, I have felt it as they listen to this.
True.
So I know it hurts. So step one is acknowledging that I am in pain and I want to resolve this pain. I want to resolve this pain. And that is where we begin healing, because we accept that we want to heal. Start putting it out on a piece of paper. That's the simplest and the easiest thing to do wherever you are, because these thoughts, when they run in our mind, they become a cloud which doesn't allow us to see through clearly. When you start writing it down, start writing with one commitment that I will not stop till I see myself, till I catch myself repeating the same thought again. Do not stop your pen. Continue writing. Journal it all out on a piece of paper. The moment the cloud clears, you will get your conscience that, oh, I am writing the same thoughts again and again. Stop. That is where you have really emptied your bucket, released it all on that piece of paper. Now it is your choice. You want to work on it, we'll be happy to work on you. If you don't want to work on it, don't even look into the paper, crumble the paper and throw it in the dustbin, because you've just taken an emotional bath.
Wow. Wow. An emotional bath. I like that.
And this is one way. If you're reaching out to us, you can reach out to Garima, you can reach out to me at Modern Meerabai. Anywhere, we'll be happy to help you. For people who are in Delhi, I'll be getting an opportunity to meet you in person. It will be lovely to have you at my retreat. I'm doing my first retreat in Delhi in person at Zorba, the Buddha, on 11th of January. And it would be honor and pleasure to have you guys there. One of its kinds, a retreat which is coming up there. We are doing a full body somatic releasing exercise, where we are doing fire breath work, air breath work, hug therapy, soul healing, sound energy healing, so many ways. There is no theory and concept. It is only and only practical. With your body being the instrument, we are going to release all the emotions in and out.
Oh,
You
wow.
will be a changed person. Definitely. You can't miss it if you're there in Delhi.
That's lovely. We'll leave more information and backlink your the retreat details so that more people can figure it out and see if it is for them. But help me understand one thing. In this entire conversation, yes, journaling is great. It's helped me. It's saved me so many times. In fact, there've been days when I started my morning a certain way and I ended my day a completely 360-degree different way. And when I compared the notes of the two, I realized that how much power my thoughts hold. If I just set the intention of changing it, there is no way that I can't. ठीक है, किसी दिन I will be able to take a massive tangible I'll be able to make that much movement, but some days my needle would not move too much. But if I've set the intention, then there is no way that things don't start moving. And what better day than 1st January 2025 to set the intention to even, begin to look at yourself and heal. But tell me one thing, Puniitta, you touched on something very interesting, and this is something that I've been working on myself and learning slowly. It is not a concept you intellectualize, it is only a concept you feel, which is somatic healing. Now, for a lot of people, this may be a foreign vocabulary. This may not be alien as a concept. Talk a little about uh, somatic work, and why no theory only doing, right? Tell me a little about the role of somatic healing in anybody's personal development journey.
Right, right. So, when I talk to you about the brain, and we all know that the brain has two parts of it, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the logical mind and the illogical mind.
Mm.
So the conscious logical mind is here. We know where it resides, right? And this is where we put the bindi also, the women. The subconscious mind, where does your subconscious reside? Every cell of our body has a DNA, which means every cell has intelligence, which also means every cell has a memory, intelligence of its own, and that is where our subconscious resides. That is where the soma or the feeling resides. Today, if I tell you to touch the fire once, this finger will remember for a lifetime that it had touched the fire, it will never go back to it again. Our body remembers, has a feeling, it carries all the scars, all the feelings that you have, all the accidents or the no accidents or the traumas that you face. Body remembers, even inside a mother's womb. We feel and we take those birth traumas. We touch upon those birth traumas in one of our air breathwork sessions as well.
Yeah.
If you want to experience it. But really, if you are here today with your body, in your body, that soma, that body is the soma, and it has a brain and intelligence of its own. And that is the somatic work we are going to do, removing those emotions from our entire body, which remembers and stores the painful memories. You will feel so much lighter. You will come back and say, oh yes, now I realize I was carrying the burden. I didn't know it was inside me.
True. No, absolutely. A lot of people who follow me on in the professional circle as well as wherever know that this weekend I was at one of these breathwork retreats, and I can give my word for this that uh so many times, just because we feel we are very intelligent, very intellectual, we try and intellectualize emotions. Emotions don't know intellect. Right? The brain, mind, and body are two very different
We make emotional
organisms.
decisions and
Yeah.
then try to logicify it.
True. And even as a communications coach, when I teach public speaking, when I teach body language, when I stand and train my students and in my classes, I make them, how communications is also a very kinesthetic skill. आपको nervous ब्रेन में नहीं फील होता है, गट में ही फील होता है. आपके रोंगटे दिमाग में नहीं खड़े होते, बॉडी पे ही. Right? It's your body that's the vehicle. I may give you pothas full of content, but you can't learn to drive or cycle or swim without doing it. And similarly, I do realize now what you're saying with somatic healing. You cannot heal yourself unless you experience and recreate those scenarios. So I'm assuming in this retreat, you are recreating a few scenarios for us and using certain modalities for us to experience. Wow, great. So Delia, it's a getting lucky about that then.
People ask me, what is somatic experiences, and it is something to be felt. Come feel it for once and take this experience with you, because the more we try to speak and intellectualize it, the more it's losing its potency.
Yeah, it's like you
right?
can't explain
So,
an orgasm, right? You can't. You can
absolutely.
only feel
You
it.
have to feel it to
You
know
gotta feel
it.
it.
And even a childbirth for that matter. We
Absolutely.
can't explain a
Absolutely.
childbirth.
Yes, lovely. So
So
as we come to the close of this, Puniitta, definitely a few things that I've taken away. There's a lot of topics that we've touched on. Divorce recovery in itself is something you can't go through this in hiding. It's important for you to come forth, acknowledge yourself, and ask for help. You weave different services together and create a platform for people to navigate through this turbulent, lonely time, in a very resourceful manner, mindful, emotional manner. Last but not the least, this is not just for people going through divorce. This work is for anyone and everyone who's feeling a little off mark in life, be it professionally, be it personally, be it in singlehood, be it in relationships. It's for us to turn inwards and work on ourselves, right? Any parting thoughts from you? This is what, for me, this thing is the conversation today.
Right, right. For me, I think the last parting word from my side would be to start prioritizing yourself. We keep ourselves at the back of the entire queue, and don't take care of our own needs. And that's where the connection with our body fails. The family comes first, the parents come first, siblings, extended family, neighbors, and even the society. Everybody's needs we are taking care of. But when it comes to taking care of my own needs, I don't know how I feel when I'm hungry. I don't know how I feel when my body is in fever, right? I have cut myself from feeling my body so much. And this is where we are asking you to connect
Back
back with your
inside.
body. The body gives us signals which we fail to understand, catch at the right moment, which becomes way too big later in life. So the only thought is prioritize yourself, love yourself, connect with your body. That's the truth, the temple that you're living in.
That's such a wonderful thought, both to conclude our conversation today, but to begin the new year as a new chapter on, right? Thank you so much for your time, Puniitta. Thank you so much for all the beautiful concepts that you brought to life. Thank you for the great work that you're doing and so many lives that you're touching and impacting. From the bottom of my heart, it's an honor to have this conversation with you. And I wish you all the best, both in what you do and for your upcoming retreat here in Delhi.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to be here. More power to you, Garima.
More power to you, Puniitta, and more power to Vicky.
Absolutely.
All right, great. We'll connect with you soon. Thank you so much. With this, we're concluding this episode and see you in the next one.